Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Reverend Charlotte McGinnis. And as always, thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. I wasn't sure if I was on yet. That's why I sort of looked dazed and confused more than usual. So anyway, I think I'm on. So happy. I hope you're having a great day. Anyway, got a great topic to talk about, one that's interesting. I think it's going to be fun. And something to ponder, something to think about, and hopefully it's helpful. I just sort of have things come into my path during the week, and I think, well, that's interesting, and I'd like to share that with the crew and see what they think about it. And some of it you may just really resonate with and like and say, yes, that's very helpful, and some of it may be, no, I don't think that's for me. But either way, it's all good, because you know what? No matter what, we're going to be okay. Okay, so just a reminder, I always appreciate it if you pass this along to your friends. All the talks are archived on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/. Inspire YOUTV. But everything can be found actually on my website, charlottemcginnis.com, my classes, Sunday Soulful Conversations, book studies, that sort of thing. And you're welcome to join us for any or all. I've taken a couple of weeks off for my heart to heart, because we have been abundantly blessed with visitors and company and friends, and have another crew coming in this week. And it's fall in North Carolina. It's kind of like winter in Florida. Everyone wants to visit you there. So it's fun and great, and always fun to see our friends. So that being said, let's jump into the topic of today. And I titled it, "This is a Test." And the reason I chose this is because, the more I talk to people, because I do, like I said, engage with a lot of people. We talk about spiritual things, talk about life, how to live life more fully, more peacefully, and just how to navigate through challenges. I think everybody's feeling a little stressed and out of sorts the past couple of years. It's been weird for everybody. So what I'm coming to really understand, and nothing really new, but just going a little deeper at it, is that everything in our life is a test. As A Course in Miracles teaches us, everything is a teaching device for bringing us home. So why, I guess the $64,000 question is, why are we here in the first place? What did we ever choose this experience for? And I've come to understand for myself that I love what I heard early on when I became a student of A Course in Miracles, and that's been close to 40 years now. And when I was studying that, there was an idea, a thought, that what happened was, and it was presented to me in a fairy tale fashion, and it was, once upon a time, we all were resting in the peace, the totality of the peace of God, the love of God, oneness, only good. We knew nothing of duality, of separation, of anger, of sickness, of anything. We just knew the totality of the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. And then all of a sudden, as the Course refers to it, the tiny mad idea, which the thought occurred, what would it be like to experience separation? This is a little boring. Who could be bored with that? But anyway, that one idea prompted what I would call, what we sometimes call the Big Bang. So our oneness burst into billions of individual aspects of light. And I'm reading a book now called Quarks of Light, and just got into it, but it really talks about how we all are at the base level of who and what everything is light. And so we all sort of came into this experience. It's kind of like we went from oneness to, and the crazy thing is, okay, the Course also says, well, it never really happened, but we believe it did. And we're dreaming a dream, believing that this is our reality. And we believe that we're separate from God and separate from each other. And we're afraid, and we're in a split mind system. And there's all kinds of like, how can you even how does that even make sense? Well, I'll even say one more aspect before I jump into this. And what I'm sharing with you is interesting and fun and true, but it's not where we really need to put our attention based on the conversation today. It's interesting and maybe helpful, but today we're going to use practical steps for awakening and checking where we are on our test on Classroom Earth. So with this separation, when we were all in the totality of God, the oneness of each other, we didn't know separation. When we separated, within each and every one of us contains the whole of our Creator, of God. So we're all carrying that aspect of creation within us. And so that's sort of what they talk about being the holographic universe. Within every quirk really contains the whole of God. And that's what we're here to sort of wake up to remember that that's who and what we are. We are the light of God. We are non-dualistic beings. We are light. We are love. We are all good. But somewhere along the way, we've fallen asleep and we're dreaming a dream, or sometimes a nightmare, of pain, suffering, sickness, and so on. So now that we sort of something to think about or not, you can take that or leave it, because it's not necessarily going to change much of what I'm talking about today. So everything in our life is a teaching device for bringing us home. And if we don't learn the lessons we're supposed to learn, then guess what? They're going to continue to come back at us. I always talk about patterns, and you begin to see what relationship patterns, for example, you see financial patterns, possibly, you see health patterns, whatever it is. When you see something recurring, it's time to take a pause and say, okay, what is it that I still need to learn here? Because it continues to come back. And obviously I haven't learned what I need to learn, or it wouldn't be coming back, right? Why is this happening again and again and again? Well, as we talk about, the world we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. So my projector, okay, how I see the world really is through the lens of my perceptions, my programs, my belief systems, and so on. So the projector, being my mind, projects all of my collective gatherings out onto the world. So the world is just reflecting back to you and me and all of us what our thoughts are about it. So do you see the world as friendly or hostile? It's a question, and we fight as I can't remember who it was. One of the spiritual writers says, we argue too much for our limitations. Don't argue for our limitations. It's like, we're just like, damn it, this is right, and I deserve to suffer, and I'm, this is bad, or they're bad, or I'm right. And, we get into our arguing for our limitations. And all that does is perpetuate the illusion and keeps our claws deeply embedded in that which is false and that which instead of that which is true. So we're here to say, okay, and as I talk about, I think that a lot of the concepts that we share on Sundays here and in our book studies do require a level of spiritual maturity and willingness and readiness. And to be honest, it's not an easy path. And sometimes people just like, screw it. That doesn't make any sense to me. And no, I'm not responsible. And I am a victim. And it's like, okay, just not ready. Or maybe this isn't your path. And that's cool. That's fine. But I do find that what I find inspiring and so powerful is rather than seeing myself as a victim, say, you know what? If I created this, if everything I see and experience in this world is a projection of my own thoughts and belief systems and programs and patterns, et cetera, then guess what? I can change it. So I'm not a victim of anything anymore. So that's what I'm saying. Recognize those patterns and the ones that aren't serving your ascension process, your oneness with each other and with our creation and God. Begin to contemplate those and say, okay, no, I choose a more enlightened way to experience or be in this situation. That's where the Holy Spirit, the voice, the still small voice of creation, of love, dwells within us every moment. And we begin to have a dialogue on awakening. And the Holy Spirit will always lead us to oneness, to peace, to joy. But we have to be willing to let go of all of our beliefs of how we think it should be. Okay, so one thing I do want to give a little plug for is we've just started in just this past week in the Course in Miracles group that we have on Fridays at 11 o'clock. Everyone's welcome. The link is on my website, charlottemcginnis.com. It's a great group. If you want to really get into deeper study of the Course, I invite you to do that. But we are engaging and really studying deeply the Song of Prayer, which is the Course in Miracles perspective on prayer. And it's a little different, maybe a lot different than what we've experienced or thought of prayer in the past. It's really about surrender and reverence and trust and letting go and thankfulness, gratitude. So it's wonderful, wonderfully written. We've got some pretty wise souls in that group. So I think if you're interested in learning about a higher realm of prayer, higher on the ladder, actually next week or this week, Friday, our topic is the ladder of prayer. So if you want to join us, I think that this all sort of comes in to support what I speak of here so often. And so again, projection, taking responsibility for sight. That is a checklist on the test. Am I willing to own everything in my life? Am I willing to take responsibility? That's check. Yeah, I'm willing to, or a little bit, not here yet, what have you. Am I willing to trust the unknown? Am I willing to take that step into that which I don't know? Instead of, as I said, with the prayer, giving God my summons and my list of this is what I want and this is how I want it to unfold. And that's not prayer. That's it's not prayer. It's just asking. We're making the illusion more real. I want this and this and this, and I want it by Tuesday. Okay. So we need to trust, we need to surrender more to the will of God. We need to be willing to go into the unknown and know that there is a plan greater than we could ever imagine for ourselves. We also have to understand that, and I say this often, that my salvation is dependent on my forgiveness of the world and my forgiveness of everyone and everything. And that's a tough one, really. But I will say for my own self, and I would hope with you guys as well, I've come a long way on that. And I've got a long way to go. But I don't hold the people hostage anymore and expect them to behave a certain way for me to be happy. I don't have expectations. I'm more honoring of myself and my needs. I don't feel the need to do that which doesn't serve my greater good. Well, last night I had Ellen and I had the pleasure of Asheville mug today, not Charlotte. We had dinner with some friends, great friends, and our hostess always pulls out her little cards and pulled her cards out, and the cards are, so it's like spirit just has a hand, they're just little message cards. And mine was pretty much saying, let go. And it's nothing new, but it was just a message to me, about new beginnings and new creations and things opening up. But for us to do that, and I think that's something that goes across the board. It just was speaking to me because it's been on my mind of things that, maybe that's not something I need to do anymore. That's not mine to do, right? And when we do that, then we are opening ourselves up to even greater things. And I'm beginning to realize what my next step is. I'm not going to share it yet because I'm not going to share it, but you'll know sooner than later. And it's all fun and good and hopefully helpful for all of us. It's just a little different direction or than the spirituality that I've been going in. Same process, but maybe addressing other aspects that we haven't talked about so much in the past. So I found this quote this morning. It's from A Course of Miracles. Well, actually, it's from Marianne Williamson, based on the Course of Miracles. And it goes on to say, thought is cause, experience is effect. If you don't like the effects, EFFECTS, effects of your life, you have to change the nature of your thinking. Thoughts are cause and experience is the effect. So what is it? Where is it that you could use a tune-up? Do that little checklist. This is a test. It's a classroom. We really need to pay attention. So many people just go on, we just sort of run our lives through unconscious programs of thought and beliefs, and we don't really do any critically thinking. We let other people do the thinking for us, and we don't get anywhere really with that. We just think, oh, this is what I was told to do. This is what the TV guys on the TV, the gals on the TV say to do on this channel. Well, this channel says something different. Who do I listen to? Well, my guess is listen and use your own filter of discernment and invite the Holy Spirit into the equation so that you can actually get a more healed perspective of all of this. As I move on and evolve, we're up to this election time. It's a countdown, and there's some heat out there with that. And I don't, all I want to do is hold a space for healing and love. I do not want to make assumptions about who votes for who and why they vote for this person and what their thoughts are. And if you choose this path over this path, you're wrong. And no, if you're on a conscious spiritual path, I don't think that's the way we go about it. Doesn't mean that you don't have a preference, and doesn't mean that you're going to go and vote for someone who speaks to your heart, but that's between you and your creator, you and spirit. And it's really none of your business what other people choose. Bless everybody. We've got to get out of this division, these patterns of attack and defense. And, we say we want good, but we're still judging. As long as we're judging, we're not going to be at peace. We're not doing anything to elevate the ascension or accelerate the ascension process, because as long as I need to be right and need to make you wrong to be right, or have you think like I am, well, you can pretty much assume that you're, rather than this way, you're probably going this way. Well, as you know, Yogananda always has to sneak in here every week or so. And he says, a test of spiritual progress is, are you happier today than yesterday? If you're becoming touchy, finicky, and gossipy, you're going backwards. If you're feeling happier today, you're progressing. Keep the happiness going. So I think a great barometer for our spiritual awakening, checking in, seeing where we are. Are you happy? Are you at peace? Are you content? Are you Are you kind, compassionate, loving, all of these things? Or are you agitated? Are you unhappy? Are you gossipy and judging? Those are things that probably are not so high on the evolutionary ladder. And we get there when we get there. Delay is meaningless in eternity, but tragic in time. So that means that, yeah, you can delay and wait as long as you want, but why? It's tragic that we do that for ourselves. I want to accelerate and get to the good stuff. And I know that this is a classroom, and it's a great life, and it's good stuff. What we begin to do when we come from these thoughts and ideas is we enjoy everything so much more. We see more beauty, we see more compassion, kindness, oneness, and all of the above. So, something to think about. So another thing Yogananda has to add to this is you have to work. You have to make the effort to accomplish. Every failure gives you the privilege, I like that, gives you the privilege of learning something new. You see how to avoid those things that were wrong before. It's only when your mind becomes weak that your body becomes weak and you refuse to work. Then you're done for, you're dead, so never give up. This life is a great game. Make the effort to win it. And what is winning it? What's the ultimate goal of winning life? I think for me, it's self-realization, awakening to love, return to love, non-duality, peace, kindness. That's when we win at life. It's not when we gather stuff, which is fine. And it's fine to accrue all kinds of things, but know that those are not good or bad. They're nothing really. But on this life journey, hey, if it's fun and you enjoy it, go for it. But never put that before the kingdom of heaven. So this is a great game. Make the effort to win it. Thousands of people, I would say millions of people in this world are suffering. Some have no hands or feet to walk with. How can you, with all the faculties at your disposal, admit failure? You must not do so. When you go backwards, your mental outlook is so dim that you think the whole world is going backwards, but you will always advance if you're accomplishing something. Develop your mind power. Let the whole world be at your command. And I take this to say the training that we're training our minds to really merge and plug into the matrix of love, of non-duality, and of peace. And I think when we do that and surrender and let go and have faith and not be so externally oriented and judgmental and gossipy, what happens is we open ourselves up to a kingdom, a way of being that exceeds anything we could ever imagine for ourselves. And I think that's part of the trap, is that we think that we're lacking something. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, God, I want this, and here's my list. And I think when we can just walk and say, thy will be done, I surrender to love, and just see what unfolds from that, it's far greater. And when I see people, I was talking to a friend last night, a whole new adventure is unfolding for her. And she's so excited and knows she's being led. Well, how did that happen? Well, she laid the groundwork. And when we do that and sort of let go and trust the process, it's far greater than we could ever imagine. And her path may or may not be one that you're drawn to. Doesn't matter. It's her path. It's my path. It's your path. And that's why, we've got to let go of, how the programming is that if maybe it comes down generationally. You've got to get this education. You got to go to this school, make this much money, live in this neighborhood, whatever it is, accomplish this goal, blah, blah, blah. And so we're living other people's dreams, not our own. And that's a weak place to come from. But we give that so much merit and power. What if we just said, I forgive the past. All my past except its beauty is gone. And I open up to walking each step in trust, faith, and confidence, knowing that my greatest good lies with each step. I'm moving towards that. Pretty powerful, huh? Well, we are not saints yet. I would add that yet. The point is we're willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Well, that comes from the 12 steps. Spiritual progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Well, in truth, we are already perfect, divine, and holy, but we're so deep in this asleep. We're so deeply removed from that and forgotten that we are divine, holy, perfect, light, loving beings of God, that we have to undo all of our beliefs and thoughts and everything that keeps us from remembering that. So we're seeking through every choice, every moment, we're making a decision that will either move us up that ascension ladder to spiritual awakening, spiritual progress, towards the remembrance of our perfection, or we'll make choices and decisions that move us down. And I look at sort of like this, we do really good and not so good, really good, not so good. And it's not about beating ourselves up when we make a mistake, but recognizing, I can do better. And yeah, I recognize that wasn't going to move me up the ladder too fast, and just let it go from that. Holy Spirit, show me a better way to do it. Didn't do so well there. You don't want to give it any energy, guilt, blame. That's not useful or helpful. So I found this. I found some little quips and quotes about how things we can do and think about to move us up this ascension ladder. Simple, basic, nothing earth shattering, but really the truth is, the truth is pretty simple, to be honest. It's just, are you doing it? Are you applying it? So, number 1, never let anyone tell you what to do. Think for yourself and take responsibility for your actions. If we did that, there again, I was talking about other people's thoughts, other people's ideas. How often do we feel caged by that? And do we live by that? And that can be generational, and it can go on for hundreds of years, thousands of years. So now we're here to be free thinkers. Never let anyone tell you what to do. We're all connected. If you help someone, you're helping yourself. If you hurt someone, you're hurting yourself. And that too is so important, because I talk about this quantum stew, and we're all connected. We're all one. And so we have to be really mindful of what thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions that we're putting into the stew. Is this one that's going to lift the whole, or is it one that's going to sort of keep us in muck? And we are so powerful that we're powerful beyond our greatest imaginings. And if we really knew how powerful we were, we would be in total awe. But we need to understand that we are here to serve and help each other, because I and my brother are one. That situation, we got to challenge and check in with ourselves. Why am I holding such a grievance or a strong thought about this that's not kind or loving, or is it judgmental? And I see that again, particularly in the political arena. Just love them all, bless them all. It's none of your business what they're doing. Just plug in with those that, focus on what you like and build on that, and let everyone else do what they need to do. Don't be afraid of painful experiences. Pain is neither good or bad in itself, but we can deal with it in a good or bad way. So that's true. We run away from pain. If we just let these experiences come to us, it's not really the experience that's causing the pain. It's how we choose to experience it and view it. Am I holding the hand of God and asking for guidance from the Holy Spirit to help me navigate through this? Or am I going to run down the other way and try to avoid it? So again, those painful experiences are lessons, and they're powerful lessons. So don't run away from pain, but meet it with the power and the strength of God within you. Also, when we drop all desires and expectations about how people should be, we won't be deceived or emotionally deceived, we won't be easily deceived or emotionally hurt again. So, the Course in Miracles talks about holy versus special relationships. And once we put an expectation on a brother or sister or ourselves, it becomes a special relationship, meaning that we're only worthy of love, or that person's only worthy of our love if they're fitting within the box that I expect them to be in. So we have to let go of all desires and expectations of how we want people to show up in our lives. Just, I love the quote, just love everybody, I'll sort them out later, sign from God. And that's sort of where I get that. Holy love is unconditional. Doesn't mean you have to align with everybody or, believe what they're doing or saying, but it's really none of our business to go. We're not out there to fix them. We're here to bless them, everyone. And all fear, I think this is so true. And this is probably one of the main statements that I choose to bring home today. All fear ultimately comes down to the fear of death. Unless you become familiar with the idea of death, you will not be able to live fully and carefree. And of course, when we talk about death, we're talking, first thing that pops into most of our minds, I would imagine, would be our physical death, leaving this world, leaving our body. And obviously that's a scary thought for a lot of people, most people. But this goes deeper. It's our fear of death of everything, loss, the death of a relationship, the death of a job, the death of a situation that we cling to for meaning and support and power and strength. So anytime we lose something, and again, the Course in Miracles says loss is never lost when properly perceived. And so if we perceived death properly, it's never what we imagined it to be. The only thing that matters is, and it's so true, and all that matters is that we take with us is the love. It's all that matters. That's what we carry with us into eternity. Nothing else really matters. So if we're clinging too tightly to conditions, relationships, jobs, identities, all those things, and then they perish, then that's when we experience pain. So we've got to heal with our stuff with death. That definitely is I think and that's something I've become very interested in later is really understanding death and finding a way to express it and share with people so it's not so fearful. Because if I can overcome the fear of death in all aspects, then I can truly live. Because now I know I am an eternal being of light, of love, and I'm not weighed down by that fear and expectation and so on and so forth. So true love, on to the next one. True love can never be hurt because it gives without asking for anything in return. So holy love versus special love. Well, all of these things, and I could go on and on. I've got lots of things here that I could bring into the conversation. But the main thing that I wanted to bring home today was, we are in a classroom. It's a test, everything is a test. And I don't none of us really like tests, okay? But look at it as an opportunity. I like, there's a great little book I read 30 some years ago, and I've got it somewhere here, and I might read it again. It's easy read. Florence Scovel Shinn is her name, and it's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it is a powerful book. It's got a lot of meat into it and in it. And basically, if we understand that this is kind of like our own little chess game, it's a game, and how I'm navigating through it is I'm alone on this journey. We keep wanting to grab people and help, throw out the life raft or whatever. And certainly we are here to support and nurture and help each other, but it is our own path and our own journey that we need to come to terms with. So it is a game, and to win the game is to understand that this is not our kingdom, okay? This is not real. It's a dream, and we can make it a happy dream. And as Yogananda said, let's make this the happiest dream possible, because that shows progress. I think a barometer for spirituality: are you happy? Are you peaceful? Are you trusting? Are you kind? All of these things are aspects of enlightenment and creation and spirit. So our beliefs are constantly shaping, is the quote I shared from Marianne Williamson. Our thoughts are projecting, and the effects are what we're reaping, okay, with what we're putting out there. So we do have way more control than we ever probably imagined we ever did. And by that, it's not about not doing it, but it's for me, I've done the vision boards, I've done the focus groups and blah, 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 but I get more excited about the unknown and knowing that, for me, it's not about amassing another job or more money or more relationships or less relationships. It's really about awakening, and I don't have to, and I have no idea what that looks like. And it's not, I know one thing, it's not through stuff. And, but I do find that vision boards can be helpful because, and all of these principles of, focus on what you want. And then, you put your energy and your attention and your focus and you move everything in that direction. Look, I was a life coach. I went through all the training. I know what it is, but it works. It does work, but it's kind of like useful it was very useful in the respect that it works. And where maybe I realized, okay, yep, that works. And I got this stuff and I made this happen, but it's not quite it. So use those tools, the power of our mind, our energy, to really, thy will be done. Surrender, trust the process. Then you're opening yourself up to a world that you can't even imagine. I can't even tell you what it is. But when I just let go and let God, as they say, life is a lot easier and gets a lot better. So yes, this is a classroom, it's a test. And don't beat yourself up if you feel like you're failing the test. Just say, oh, I can make some better choices. So hope this helps. We're all in this together. Check out other things if you want to join in during the week. Love to have you, and appreciate everybody. Have a blessed week, and namaste. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.